Real talk. Have you ever seen a geoduck? No, it's not a Pokemon. It's not a weapon from a Final Fantasy game. And despite the spelling, it's not pronounced geoduck. It's pronounced gooey duck. Because of course it is. Now imagine a giant clam with a long, wrinkly siphon. That kind of looks like, well, something your grandma told you not to point at people. That's a geoduck, nature's awkward little masterpiece. And this freaky-looking mollusk? It can sell for over $100 a pound. That's right. This clam costs more than Kobe beef, fancy truffles, or even some engagement rings. But why? Why would anyone pay that much for something that looks like it belongs in a biology horror movie? Is it really that tasty? Or are we all just getting scammed by the ocean's most questionable-looking resident? Well, buckle up, my friend. Today, we're diving deep, literally, into the world of geoducks. From their freakish anatomy to international smuggling scandals, yes, really, we're going to find out exactly what makes this misunderstood clam such a high-priced delicacy. Oh, and if you're into weird food mysteries, luxury seafood, and things that make chefs giggle, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I promise not to make too many geoduck jokes. Okay? I totally will. Let's get weird. Let's get pricey. Let's get into the bizarre world of the geoduck. All right, let's start with the basics. What even is a geoduck? Geoducks are clams, but not your average chowder in a bread bowl clams. These things are the heavyweight champions of the clam world. A typical geoduck can weigh over 3 pounds and stretch its neck, technically called a siphon, up to 3 feet long. Yeah, 3 feet. This is the Shaquille O'Neal of shellfish. And no, they don't retract that giant siphon into their shell. That's just out there flopping around being all geoduckish. It's like nature gave up halfway through and said, yeah, this is fine. Now, the name geoduck is already weird, but the pronunciation, even weirder. It's not geoduck, like a duck from Google Maps. It's gooey duck, which sounds more like something your toddler would spill on the carpet. The name comes from a loose-shoot seed Native American word meaning dig deep, which is accurate, because these things bury themselves 3 feet underground and just leave their, neck sticking out. Despite the cursed appearance, the siphon is actually key to its survival. Geoducks filter feed by sucking in plankton-rich water and spitting out the bad stuff. Think of them as the original water purifiers, just simpler and less portable. Also, they live a long time, like a really long time. Some geoducks have been known to live over 160 years. That means there are clams out there that were alive when Abraham Lincoln was president. And we're eating them. Because apparently we looked at this ancient alien-looking creature and thought, yup, let's make sushi out of that. So to recap, the geoduck is big, bizarre, ancient, hard to pronounce, and looks like it was designed in a fever dream. And yet, it's one of the most expensive seafood items in the world. But hold up. Just because it's weird doesn't mean it's worth $100 a pound, right? Okay. So it looks like a sea monster and lives longer than your great-grandpa. But what does geoduck taste like? Believe it or not, it's actually kind of fancy. Geoduck has a sweet, delicate flavor and a crisp texture that seafood lovers go wild for. Think somewhere between clam and abalone, but crunchier, like if a scallop did Pilates. Chefs usually serve it raw, sliced paper-thin as sashimi. That's when the sweet ocean-fresh taste really shines. But it's also used in hot pots, stir-fry, and sometimes even tempura. Though let's be real, once it's deep-fried, even a flip-flop can taste good. Here's the kicker. It's not even cheap in the countries that eat it the most. In China, Korea, and Japan, geoduck is considered a delicacy. We're talking $100 plus per pound in high-end restaurants. This thing is basically seafood royalty. Imagine a lobster in a velvet robe sipping Dom Perignon. That's the vibe. But does it deserve the price tag? Well, geoduck is a little like truffle oil or a designer handbag. Some people swear it's life-changing. Others just want to say they've tried it. The experience is part of the appeal. It's not every day you eat something that looks like it belongs in a National Geographic special. Plus, there's the texture. Geoduck has this firm, snappy bite that chefs call crunchy, but not in a potato chip way. More like luxurious dental resistance, which sounds ridiculous until you try it. And because geoduck is so big, chefs get creative with it. The neck goes into raw dishes where you want that crunch. The body, which is softer, gets sautéed or grilled. You basically get two textures in one clam. So yeah, it's not just a gimmick. People genuinely love the flavor. And if you're a fan of clean, briny seafood, it's kind of a dream. But let's be honest. It's not just taste that's driving the price up. All right, let's get down to the dollars. Why does this awkward clam cost more than your monthly Wi-Fi bill? First off, it's not easy to catch a geoduck. These suckers don't just sit on the beach waiting to be picked up. No. They live 3 feet underground, buried deep in the mud flats of the Pacific Northwest. That means harvesters have to use water jet hoses to blast away the sand and yank them out by hand. It's like clam scuba diving, except with way more back pain. Oh, and here's a fun image. Harvesting geoduck often looks like a bunch of people pressure washing the beach while trying to wrestle a wet sock out of a sand hole. It's not glamorous, it's not quick, but it's effective and very labor-intensive. Then there's the time factor. Geoducks can take up to 7 years to reach market size. That's right, 7 years of just chilling in the mud, growing slowly, while you hope no raccoon or environmental disaster wipes out your investment. That's more patience than I have waiting for DoorDash. Also, let's not forget the limited geography. Geoducks are found naturally in only a few places, mostly Washington State, British Columbia, and parts of Alaska. That's not a lot of coastline for a product with global demand. And speaking of demand, China loves geoduck. Like, really loves it. In China, it's seen as a luxury food and a symbol of wealth. You show up to a fancy banquet with geoduck sashimi on the table, you're basically flexing your seafood swagger. It's often given as a business gift or served at weddings, birthdays, and any occasion where showing off is part of the fun. That international demand means most geoduck harvested in the U.S. doesn't stay in the U.S. It gets shipped fresh, like live-in-a-tank fresh, to Asia. That means overnight air transport, temperature-controlled logistics, and a whole lot of paperwork. Because customs really likes to double-check anything that squirms. All that shipping adds up, especially when you realize the geoduck has to stay alive during transport. That's right. This isn't just seafood. It's a delicate, high-maintenance diva that needs first-class treatment all the way from the mud flat to your dinner plate. Also, the price is driven up by strict regulations. Many fisheries are heavily monitored to avoid overharvesting, which is great for sustainability but limits supply. Only licensed divers can harvest them, and quotas keep things tightly controlled. Less supply plus high demand equals seafood inflation, baby. So yeah, between the digging, the aging, the shipping, the customs, and the hype, geoducks aren't just clams. They're luxury clams with an entourage. Okay, let's talk about the giant, bizarre elephant in the seafood tank. Because geoducks aren't just expensive. They're also internet famous. And not in a majestic ocean creature way. More like a what am I looking at and should I be blushing kind of way. Let's be honest. The geoduck looks incredibly NSFW. The long neck, the floppy shape, the way it squirts water. Yeah. It's the kind of seafood that makes you question whether you should be eating it or taking it out to dinner first. If you've never seen someone react to touching a live geoduck for the first time, just type it into YouTube. It's comedy gold and mild emotional trauma all in one. And because the internet loves weird-looking animals, the geoduck became meme material almost overnight. TikToks? Check. Reddit threads titled, "What is this cursed sea banana?" You bet. Reaction videos of people cooking it with horrified expressions, all over the place. But here's the twist. Despite the jokes, people are obsessed in the best way. In food culture, the geoduck has become a dare, a status symbol, and a flex all rolled into one. Do you cook a geoduck at home? You just earned yourself hardcore foodie cred. And don't think it's just about clout in the West. In East Asia, especially China and Korea, geoduck is treated like culinary royalty. It shows up in hot pots, raw sashimi, or lightly blanched with soy and wasabi. And it's not just the rich eating it. It's become aspirational. Something people save up for or order on special occasions. Kinda like a lobster wearing a tuxedo. Even chefs love it. Why? Because it's actually super versatile. The meat in the neck is crunchy, the body is tender, and it can be served raw, grilled, stir-fried. You name it. Some even call it the Wagyu beef of clams. Okay, that's a stretch, but we're being generous. So yes, geoduck has gone from weird sea creature to weirdly beloved delicacy, with a fan base that ranges from Michelin star chefs to Gen Z TikTokers. So now you know. The geoduck isn't just some awkward-looking clam with a name that sounds like a rejected Pokemon. It's a status symbol, a culinary adventure, and a cultural icon, all wrapped into one deliciously weird package. It's expensive because it's rare. It's expensive because it's tricky to farm. It's expensive because it takes 6 years to grow and 6 seconds to go viral online. But most of all, it's expensive because people are willing to pay for the experience, to show off, to try something daring, or just to say they've eaten that. It's not just food, it's a story. Once you slurp, chew, and probably Instagram. So next time you see geoduck on a menu and your brain says, nope, maybe listen to your inner curious foodie and say, why the heck not? Worst case, it's a $70 conversation starter. Best case, you've just leveled up in seafood enlightenment. And hey, if you made it this far and enjoyed this deep dive into weird, wonderful food culture, why not subscribe to Explore the Why? We're always serving up tasty mysteries. No bib required. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a clam to explain to my therapist.